to online classes of Global Navigation Satellite System. So in yesterday's class or in the previous class, we have started our next second unit where we have seen the GPS signal structure. Okay, how we are going to generate a GPS signal structure. I hope you have all written that video properly, and you might be getting the idea what actually GPS signal structure consisting of. So it has three components, or the three basic components that you have in your GPS signal structure. That is, first one is your carrier signal, then you will be having a navigation message, then you will be having the codes, right? I hope you all remember that one. A navigation message you will be having like this, then you will be having the carrier, and the last one signal is your message signal, correct? So the three basic components are carrier plus navigation message plus PRN codes. These in three combinations that you will be going to generate your GPS signal structure. So I'll repeat the the GPS signal comprises of three basic components: carrier, navigation, and PRN codes. So in PRN codes, again you will be having two different kinds of codes. One is your C by A code, that is nothing but chorus or acquisition code, and second one is your P of Y code, that are your precision codes. So if you are going for the military kind of applications, then you require your P of Y codes. When normal for the civilian and purpose, we are using your chorus acquisition codes or the C by A codes, correct? And the second one is you are having the navigation message. In this navigation message, all the information regarding the satellite constellation, health of the satellite is being used, you will be generating, and that all is given by your mobile master control station, that is uploaded to the ground antennas, through which it will be communicating with your satellites. And when the first one was your carrier, the carrier signal will be having two frequencies, and you will be having a fundamental frequency of 10.23 megahertz. In that carrier you will be having L1 and L2. This fundamental frequency is been multiplied with 154, so that your L1 value will be 1575.42 megahertz and L2 value will be 1227.60 megahertz. So this was your signal structure, basic GPS signal structure, and the components which are you are having in this one. And we have seen the generation of the signal structure also, how you are going to generate, how P codes and C by O codes will be added. This is the navigation data. These are two your L1 and L2 carrier frequencies. These two are your codes, PRN codes, or the pseudo random codes, which are C by A and the precision codes. Now in today's class, we are going to see our next topic, that is generation or the message format of your navigation message or the navigation data. We said we require a navigation data, but how that actual navigation data will be. So we'll be seeing the navigation message format. So the message is continuously broadcasted by each satellite, right? Yes or no? So navigation message in the sense, whatever the information that you are having in the satellite, they are giving you the continuous information. That information is broadcast or sent by each satellite every time. So it has a frequency of 50 megahertz. One navigation message is made up of 25 frames. Each frame is again subdivided into 5 subframes. This is very important. I'll show you the figure also, how it will be looking. So the frequency of that particular navigation message will be 50 hertz, and each message is having 25 frames. Again, these 25 frames, or each frame is subdivided into 5 subframes. Okay, so these subframes will be having the duration of 6 seconds. So how many frames you are saying? 25 frames. You are saying navigation message is made up of 25 frames. Again, they are divided into 5 subframes. That's 5 subframes will be having the time duration of 6 seconds. So containing 300 bits of the information. So how much information it will be containing in each subframe? You will be having 300 bits. Time duration is 6 seconds. Total number of frames are your navigation data or the navigation message. Total number of frames are 25 frames. So hence it takes 30 seconds to receive one data frame, which is of 1500 bits long. Yes or no? 5 3s are 15. So 300 into 5, we have subdivided the frames into 5 here. So here will be total long bits is of data frame is of 1500 bits, and the time duration, as I have said, each subframe will be of 6 seconds. So 5 subframes are there, so 5 6 30, so hence 30 seconds to receive one data frame which is of 1500 bits long. 5 subframes which are of 300 bits each, so 5 3s are 15, so 1500 bits long. This implies that it takes 750 seconds, that is 12.5 minutes, to receive all 25 frames. As we have to take all 25 frames, so I'm multiplying that one, so it takes 750 seconds to receive all 25 frames. I have talked about only one frame which takes 1500 bits long, so the time taken for all 25 frames will be of 750. Fine. So this is how you complete the data frame or the complete navigation data. The time required is this one, that is 12 minutes. Nothing but one data frame is of 30 seconds. So 25 into 30, that you will be getting 750 seconds. So the overall 12.5 minutes to receive all 25 frames. One navigation message is made up of 25 frames. So each subframe contains specific type of information. Okay, all the frames will not be containing same information. All these 5 subframes will be having different information in that one. Subframe 1 contains the clock correction parameters of the satellite. So what is the subframe 1 containing of? Clock corrections. In case of there is any time delay or something that is happening in your satellite and it is sending the data to the receiver, in case of any clock corrections or the clock delays, that is all information is will be present in your subframe 1. When it comes to the subframe 2 and subframe 3, it will be containing the Amphoris data, which is nothing but the precise orbital parameters required in order to obtain the satellite coordinates for the positioning. So in the last class, not in the last class, but in the initial classes of unit 1, I have told you about the Amphoris data and the almanac data. Almanac data is the one in which you will be having the data it will be from 4 to 5 days, whereas your Amphoris data, which is precise data, temporary data, it will be at present, at that point only you will be having that particular data. So in the subframe 2 and 3, you will be having the Amphoris data, which will be giving you the precise orbital parameters, means at present what is the condition of the satellite and which parameter it is traveling, in order to obtain the satellite coordinates for proper positioning. Yes, sir. So at the what we'll say, at present what is the situation of the orbit in satellite, in which orbit it is traveling, what is its health position, that is all given by your Amphoris data. So subframe 2 and 3 will be containing of your Amphoris data. Now comes to your subframe 4 and 5, which are repeatedly computed 25 times. Okay, so subframe 4 and 5 contains the data which is common to all the satellites as almanac. What are the almanac data? Health, configuration status of every satellite, coefficients of the ionospheric model, UTC calculation, means coordinated universal time, everything will be present in that one. So it will be repeatedly computing 25 times. Okay, so these are the 5 frames that you will be having in your navigation message format. What are the 5 frames? In the first frame, subframe 1, you will be having the clock correction parameters of the satellite. In subframe 2 and 3, you will be having the Amphoris data. And in subframe 4 and 5, they will be repeated for 25 times, and the data that is present in that one will be your almanac data, the health of the satellite, the configuration status of every satellite, like how they are moving, where is the particular satellite in the orbit, what are the ionospheric model for that one, and what is the time, universal coordinated time calculation, everything will be present this in the subframe 4 and 5. So all these frames will start with the telemetry word followed by the handover word. These are the 2 words which will be present in your subframes. So this telemetry word gives the information regarding the age of the Amphoris data, like how much old is your data, like it is 4 weeks or 5 weeks, or it is of 1 week or 4 days or 2 days. The data will be given. The age of Amphoris data is given by TLM, that is a telemetry word. And Yeah, how? That is, handover word gives the information about the GPS signal transmission time, how much it is requiring the time to send the GPS information. That is given by your HOW, that is your handover word. So these are the two subframes. Will be starting with the elementary word as well as your handover word. I'll show you the frame over here. See here, this is the subframe. One frame of the navigation data, which is consisting of 5 subframes. First subframe is completely about the clock correction you will be having. As I have said, they will be starting with the telemetry data and the handover word. In the telemetry data, you will be seeing the age of the almanac data, like how old is that one. Yeah, this one. Okay, how age is your Emphorest data. Then handover word will be giving you the information about the GPS signal transmission time, how much your GPS signal is taking time to give you the transmission. So first frame, subframe is consisting of clock correction data, and every frame will be starting with telemetry word and a handover word. Telemetry word or age of your Emphorest data, like how much old is your data which is present there, and handover word means how much time the GPS signal is taking to transmit. Second and third subframes will be consisting of your Emphorest data. This I have already told. Then you will be having subframe 4 and 5, which will be having you the data of all the information, like health of your satellite, UTC timing, and the almanac what you are having of your satellite vehicles, everything. For every 25 times it will be repeating. So your subframe takes total of 12.5 minutes to send all this one data frame. So this is how your data frame will be working of your navigation data. Means the navigation data will be consisting of all this information, all these 5 subframes. So telemetry data will be having 8 preamble bits, 1 data bit and 1 parity bit, whereas your handover word will be containing of 17 bit, time of a week, means how much time you have said that in handover data will be having the how much time it is requiring for a GPS signal as to get to the receiver. Then you will be having a data bit and as well as a parity bit. So this is a one word bit. So this the signal navigation data format or navigation data structure that we'll be having. Very important and very simple. Okay, go through the video nicely once so that you can easily answer the question in case it comes in your final examination. I hope you are clear with the navigation message format or navigation data format. Once again, I'll repeat it the last end of this class, and we'll move on to the next topic, that is C by A codes format. C by A codes is nothing but code or chorus or acquisition code. Okay, very important one. Now let's see the C by A code. C by A code is a pseudo random code. So in pseudo random codes, as I've said, we are having two types. One is C by A code and the second one is your precision code, that is P of Y codes. Now we are going to see your C by A code generation. This is important, which is in your syllabus. So C by A code is one of your pseudo random code. It belongs to the family of gold codes. There are some gold codes present in the GPS transmission and all. So in one of the family or one of the part of the family of the codes is your C by A codes. These codes are derived from two 10-bit maximum length linear feedback register. Remember this one, MLFSR, which means that these codes are derived from two 10-bit maximum length linear feedback shift registers, which have a certain polynomial configuration. In DC, we have seen different types of polynomial configurations. Yes, error correcting capability, syndrome errors, correct. So these type of codes, we use this polynomial configurations here. So these codes are derived from two 10-bit maximum length linear feedback shift registers. Of course, we will be having some feedback registers over here, which will be having some polynomial configuration. I hope you all remember that linear configuration, polynomial configuration, syndrome error detection from DC. So that's the reason we have interlinked with this one. So here each C by A code is a sequence of n bits, which will be having n is equals to 2 to the power of n minus 1 bits. Each C by A code is a sequence of n bits, and that n will be given as n is equals to 2 to the power of n minus 1, where small n will be representing the length of your shift registers in the bit. Okay, shift registers in that particular bits. How many shift registers are there in your bit? So that is represented by the length n, small n, and capital N will be giving you the sequence of n bits. So total overall length of the bit will be of your 2 to the power of 10 minus 1, that will be giving you 1023 bits long. This I have told you yesterday itself. I hope you remember in the previous class that you will be having 1023 bits long of your C by A codes, chorus or acceleration code. So the output of these two registers is modulo 2 added to get the final code. Okay, as to get the final code, what you have to do, you have to take these two registers and you have to do the modulo 2 addition of that particular code as to get the final codes. So in GPS, C by A code generation will be used by getting these two registers R1 and R2, which are connected to a clock frequency that is of 1.23 megahertz. So initially each bit of two registers is set to 1. So what is the value we will be getting? R1 and R2 in the initial stages, that will be set to 1. So every 10/23rd period the contents of the registers will all reset to all ones. Okay, what it happens, all every 10/23rd period, at every 1023rd period, the contents of the registers are all set to once again. Okay, they will be all setting to 1. So what is the initial value we are giving to these two registers? That will be 1. This, I hope you remember this 1023 bits long. Shall I take to the part? Wait, I'll show you. See here, yesterday we have discussed the PRN codes. We have said that there are two pseudo random codes. One is C by A code, whose sequence is 1023 chips. How we got this 1023 chips? Now I hope you are clear with this one. That is nothing but 2 to the power of 10 minus 1, that we will be getting 1023 bits. Okay, 1023 bits of long is your C by A code. So this is how your C by A codes value will be there. Okay, so that is how you are going to calculate the bit size of your C by A codes. Okay, how much bit long it is. 1. So 2 to the power of 10 minus 1, 1023 bits long. Okay, now this GPS code generation can be seen by the figure I have given over here. So these are the two equations. As I have said, there will be two registers for generation of your C by A codes. One is R1 and second one will be the R2 register. At the initial values, the clock it will be set to 1, but at the 10/23rd period, then again all the registers will be set to 1 once again. Okay, and the clock frequency of this particular C by A codes will be of 1.203 megahertz. So the R1 has a feedback polynomial configuration of f of x is equals to 1 plus x cube plus x to the power of 10. This is the polynomial equation for your first register R1. It indicates that bits 3 and bits 10 are feedback to the input. So what it does mean, what is the polynomial f of x, that is equals to 1 plus x to the power of 3 plus x to the power of 10. So it means that the bits 3 and the bits 10 are the feedback, or they fed back to the input. Again they don't be directly going for the output, they again fed back to the input. Now similarly R2 register will be having a polynomial configuration, and that equation is given as f of x is equals to 1 plus x square plus x cube plus x to the power of 6 plus x to the power of 8 plus x to the power of 9 plus x to the power of 10. So this is your R2 register polynomial equation. So to generate the C by A codes, different bits are selected from the register R2 and modulo 2 is added to that one. What you have to do, we have to select these number of bits, means bit 2, bit 3 and bit 6, bit 8, bit 9 and bit 10. These codes are being selected, or these bits will be selected from the register R2, and modulo 2 will be added to this one. This value is again modulo 2 added with the output of register R1. So what you have to do, what is the register R1 equation? F of x is equals to 1 plus x to the power of 3 plus x to the power of 6. Means bit 3 and bit 6 are fed back to the input, right? So in the first what happens in the register R2, these are fed back and modulo 2 is added, and this output of register R2 is again modulo 2 or added modulo 2 with the register R1. So output of R1 and output of R2, they should be done modulo 2 addition, correct here. Then the selection of these different bits from the modulo 2 adder from the second register is called as your phase selection. Now here at this point, from module, after selecting these 3 and 6, you are adding what you are doing, you are doing modulo 2, and that output is given to your to the one more modulo 2 addition of the phase register 2. Here afterwards what happens, this all are in combination is given to your phase selector over here. Okay, then in combination of these two you will be getting your C by A codes. So this is how you are going to generate your C by A code. I'll repeat it once again. Sorry. First one, so C by A codes will be consisting of 2 registers which will be having a polynomial equation. Okay, polynomial equation. So the register F1 or the R1 will be having a polynomial equation f of x is equals to 1 plus x power 3 plus x power 10, which means bits 3 and bit 10, they are fed back to the inputs. Now when it comes to your second register, what you have to do, that a polynomial equation you have to see, that will be 1 plus x square plus x cube plus x power 6 plus x power 8 plus x power 9 plus x power 10. See here, this one correct, x square, x power 3, x 6, then 8, then 9 and 10. These are all done, are fed back. They are done modulo 2, again they are fed back to the inputs, then they are given to modulo 2 addition. The output of first register after modulo 2 addition, then output of second register after modulo 2 addition is given to a second modulo 2 adder, that is called as your phase selection. After this phase selection, this is again given to a modulo 2 addition where you will be getting the output C by A codes. So this is how you are going to generate your C by A code. So this is called as C by A code generation. So I hope you are clear with the C by A codes generation and navigation message data format also. So these two are very important in point of view of your exam. Surely you will be getting the question of generation of C by A codes. You have to surely draw this one. I have given the values also. After 23rd cycle, again all the values will be reset to 1. So you will be having a reset value, and the initial frequency that you will be giving is your 1.023 megahertz of the frequency, correct? All this information is given over there. So you have to write the the C by A code generation, how you are going to generate, what are the 2 registers, what are the polynomial equations that you are using for that one, how shift registers, which particular bits you are going to shift, and where you are doing the modulo 2 addition, and how you have lastly got your C by A code. Okay, this is your C by A code generation and navigation data format. So navigation data format, one data will be consisting of 5 subframes. So first frame will be consisting of your clock correction data. Okay, second and third will be having your Emphorest data. Fourth and fifth will be repeatedly they'll be repeating for 25 times, because in that one you will be having the UTC timing, almanac data, like what is the health of your satellite, everything will be present in your subframe 4 and 5. And they will be starting with the 2 words. First one is a telemetry word and second one is your handover word. So this telemetry word, that will be consisting of your whatever the Emphorest data, or what is the age of the Emphorest data, like how much old is that one, how many weeks old data that you will be having over there. And where it comes to your handover data, that will be giving you the information about the GPS signal transmission time, like how much time it is going to take to transmit a particular GPS signal from that particular satellite to the receiver. So that gives you a complete format of your navigation data, like how your navigation data will become. So these are the 2 topics that we have covered in today's class. I hope you are all clear with these 2 topics. In the next class, the part A is been finished, right? So this was about your generation of C/A codes, navigation data format. I hope you are all clear. In the next class, I'm going to start your next topic, that is your errors in the GPS. What are the different kinds of errors that will be occurring in GPS and how we are going to see them, how we are going to calculate that particular errors, we are going to see in the next class. Then one more topic you will be having here, spoofing and anti-spoofing. That will also, I'll continue with that one only in the errors in the GPS itself. Okay, so I hope you are clear with this one. GPS signals, C/A codes and the P codes, how we have formatted. GPS signal generation, how we are generating the GPS signal. Okay, so in the next class I'll start the errors in the GPS signal. After in continuation with this part B, I'll be completing this spoofing and anti-spoofing also. I hope you are clear with all the topics that we have covered today. Okay, in case of any doubts, please do let me know and watch the classes properly. Thank you.